What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Outerzone, the official podcast of Formula Drift. My name is Jacob Gettens, and we have the 2024 PROSPEC Champion, Mr. Tommy Lemaire. We got two other strangers on here right now. Do you guys want to do a quick intro as to who you are, what you do for the team, all that fun stuff?
Yeah, we'll start with Jaman.
My name is Jaman. On the team, I primarily do fuel, tires, and keep the pits clean and provide energy. I would say.
Provide energy.
Yeah, he does. That's
nice. And yourself?
I'm Mike Reich. I'm the owner of Concept Motorsport, and I'm the tech for the car, basically. I'm
Nice.
the main mechanic.
Okay, so you're the one we have to blame about the belts.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll take it.
I think you heard enough last night.
No, it's such a tough decision to make because, there's going turbo, there's going supercharger, but then even within supercharger, roots versus like a vortex style, or going all nitrous or going all motor. Do you think with all the belt stuff going on that you would make a change going into pro, or you kind of know what the issue is and just find better ways to solve it?
Yeah, I think we're going to find a better way to solve it. I'm not interested to go turbo. Nitrous is another problem at some point, so I'm not going to go with that. And Pro Charger, we thought about it, but a place like here, when you're high in the elevation, it's not the best. So I think I'm going to stick with the supercharger, but we're going to work hard to find a solution.
Yeah, the other hard part too with the Pro Chargers is often you have to take parts off to get the belts on because it's sitting out in front, right?
Yeah,
so at least with this, you can, I assume it's a little bit easier to get the belt back on.
Yeah, what was it, like a minute and a half in New Jersey?
Yeah, in New Jersey, we had it back on and running and under a minute and a half, actually. Tommy was looking at us like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you can swear. Don't worry, you're good. Yeah, it's got to be tough, and it's not like you guys are the only ones running into belt issues. I think drifting is such a unique stress on engines, especially things on belt tensioner pulleys, because I don't know if you've ever put a GoPro on, you can see that tensioner just doing this the entire run.
Yeah, it's on and off all the time.
Yeah, it's absolutely wild. So, getting into the Corvette, you mentioned it a couple of times now. How far along are you guys with that build?
So I'll let you go with that.
So I have to stop working on his other cars to commit on this car, actually. So he has this white C7 that he does drift day with. Currently installing a Magnuson supercharger.
Nice.
But yeah, it's gonna be ready.
It'll be ready.
Yeah,
you got
it'll
time.
be ready.
You got time.
There's 24 hours in the day, right?
Yeah, and you only need to sleep for one or two of them. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
That's good. So this year obviously being pretty nuts, I would love to get maybe a funny or ridiculous memory from each of you guys from this season. Something that happened where you're like, man, this was a crazy story. Could be funny, could be serious. Just I'm a little bit behind the scenes. I was waiting for someone to have a reaction. We can start at the end of the line, work our way back.
I'll go first. I don't want him to take my line. So I would say probably because it's off track, but it was very fun. After St. Louis, when we finished third position, we went partying at also Lee's trailer and Jonathan Hurst trailer, and at one point they were all like, "Oh, let's go to the club," and so we were like, "Well, all right, let's do it." And my girlfriend was here, and my girlfriend was like, "I've never been there. I want to go." So we all show up there. Also, Lee is just wild partying, and he invited us. So we had a blast. It was very fun, and it was quite unique, I will say. And it's funny because we're a big competitor, but also we are teammates with FDF, and I think we have a good sportsmanship and friendship. So it was really fun.
Nice. Yeah, the camaraderie off track is often more memorable than what happens on track.
Yeah.
So,
anything to say?
Let me go last.
Anything on your end? Just something cool or funny that's happened this season?
To me, the highlight was winning the championship with this guy.
Yeah.
That was the main highlight of the season.
Yeah. It's a nice payoff after all the work, right?
I never cried. I almost did.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Tommy was crying.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, dude, yeah.
When I saw his face, I was
very
like,
emotional.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I was like, I might start tearing a bit. Oh no.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's all the pressure, all the hard stuff. Even at home with my girlfriend, it's hard sometimes. We don't have kids. luckily, because it will be even harder. But we have like a strong relationship, and we work on that, because I'm not always easy to live with all this emotion, all this financial commitment and stuff like this. So when you reach it, it all goes out, and it was a lot. And even today, this morning, I watched the interview with Laurette, and I still had the
little
tears. Yeah, exactly. So it was a big moment for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I've obviously kind of like watched you drive for years now. So for me, it was super cool. I had a lot of people like, oh, who are you rooting for and all this stuff. And I'm like, man, I know the O'Sullys really well. Like, they're good friends now. I've, kind of watched you drive for years and years. I mean, when I started drifting, you were starting to make a name in Canada. So it's like kind of a cool full circle thing as well. But I mean, selfishly, seeing another Canadian up there, I mean, I had a bit of a moment too. I was just like, man, like, it shows how good Canadian drifting is, especially Quebec drifting. Like, we talked about it. I feel so bad for Quebec drifting just because there's so much talent there, but it doesn't seem to leave. I know we talked a little bit about it on your show, and I'm hoping more drivers like don't ever leave DMCC. I'm not asking people to like quit or go away, but understand that like you should drive everything else as well. So it was a cool moment. I mean, it's a cool moment for all the guys back home too.
Yeah.
It's mainly budget related.
Definitely budget related.
Yeah.
I do have one moment that actually stands out in Atlanta. That was really intense, because when we were when the car didn't start at the line.
Oh yeah.
That's everyone's heart was just like, no. It was like the final run, yeah. And then so when the car started, it was crazy. And then we see the battle, and then you end up at the they're announcing the winners, and then me and the rest of the team we're bombing down the hill to be at the front to see like who got the championship, and then who won the round. And then this random like security golf cart case. Yeah, you guys need a ride, because we were just sprinting down the hill. Oh, yeah. And we got like a little bit into the kitty litter and then just ran across. And that's when we were able to like celebrate. So that was really cool, because I had never experienced something like that before. And it was so cool. So, I mean, that really sticks out. And that was also when my parents saw me on the live stream.
Oh, really?
And they were like, oh, yo, did you win? I'm like, yeah, we won. Like, yeah, it was really cool.
It's really as a whole, is the team. It's like sometimes people think it's just the driver, but it's really like the team and people around the team, like the family and stuff. It's a whole big commitment.
It creates memories.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I was saying, last night we were all over by Stookies or playing, cornhole, and I'm like, in 6 months' time, we might not remember who got what position, but I guarantee we'll remember like the time we all just hung out at Stookies Pit, throwing cornhole, eating barbecue, stuff like that. Like the winning and stuff is great. It's what we're all here for. But like, you ask people their stories, they might have one or two memories about doing really well or a crazy crash, but every other memory is something that happened off track. And I think that's really the coolest part. And I wish more people could see that. Like, I wish, even in like vlogs and stuff like that, people would highlight that kind of stuff more. Because like, winning's great. Everybody loves to win. But, I remember all the crazy stuff that we did over the years. And that's, for me, like the things that I lock onto.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But, yeah. So I guess next steps for you guys, like, obviously hang out. You got the banquet coming up tonight. That'll be fun. I'm sure tomorrow morning won't be fun, but what do you guys do after this? What's the plan?
So we don't really take a break, because as Mike said, he's working on all my cars, and so next week we have the Maple Leaf Bash big event, party event in Canada. So we need to install the Magnuson supercharger on the car. So this is going to be the first thing, and after that, we have to jump on the competition C7. And I don't even know if it's going to be like 100% ready or ready but not developed enough. So we'll see. But that being said, we're going to keep the S14 as a whole, as a one piece, just in case we need a plan B.
No, so, I'll make a promise that S14 is not coming back.
Well, I like this.
It's good. It's definitely good to have it. We've seen it with like, Brudski, having the two cars was great. I mean, he's running both series, so you kind of need to. But it's happened previous times where you need to have that second car. The pain is like, do you want to haul 2 cars everywhere, right?
Nah.
It's not. It's not. It's more fuel. It's more everything. But
It's not ideal.
no, definitely not ideal. Better use that space for like spare engines, trans, stuff like that.
I don't have the trailer for both cars, so it's gonna be either one or the other. But like I mean, the point is more like I don't want to show up to the race, especially in pro, and have a car that is not developed or not 100% ready, but that I'm confident with. So if I feel that it's not perfect, I prefer to go with the S14 because it's a reliable car for now. Yeah. But I know that the Corvette has more potential, so I'm really hoping we can show up with this car.
Yeah, it seems to be. I mean, it's so weird because like the S chassis is still crushing. You know, you see guys like Odie and Simon just decimating in it, but then the Corvettes, like we're at this point now where there's as much information on them, and drivers are really making them work. I mean, Matt Field really pushing that.
Yep.
And then, you know, you guys working with Josiah, he's developing that chassis. Every time I feel like he's done developing that chassis, he's like, oh, we're going to build another one. We're going to do something different. So the upside for you guys is you get to piggyback off of all the work he's been doing, and you get the finished kit, and you're like, okay, cool, we're good to go now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's going to be cool. I'm excited to see. I mean, obviously you've done well in the S chassis, the practice car. I've seen a few videos of you putting down laps in that. So putting those two things together will be pretty sick.
Yeah, and that will be mostly Mike's job. But but on my side, I'm gonna really work on finding a new partnership, new sponsors, new people that want to associate their name with me. Because I think we have a great program. Yeah. We have we're not big budget, but I think we still have a good image. We can still help some company, and they can help us for sure. So we're really trying right now to find a tire sponsor for next year to do the jump in pro. Yeah. And that will be a big deal breaker for us.
For you guys though, like, do you look at next season? You're already like, okay, how much work can I take off? Like, you know, how do I make 8 rounds happen? Like, because that's the other part too. Like, you know, Tommy's got the dream, he's got the motivation, but you need the team to back it, and that also means, as the team, you kind of have to put your lives on hold for 8 weekends as well. So that's like, I'm sure, I don't know if you've had that conversation with everybody, so sorry for bringing it up, but like, that's the next part is like, okay, I want to do it, I'll figure out a way. Now I need to make sure everybody else figures out a way to do it.
Yeah, of course. So Jaman is like living in Europe, living in the US, working over there. Yeah. So it's a big commitment for sure. So we talked about it, and we are trying to go one race at a time right now. So we're not trying to aim for 8 rounds as we speak. We're just trying to aim for one round after the other and the other. The minimum we want to do is 4 rounds for sure. Yeah. But we'll see if we're able to do more than 4 rounds. But it's a big commitment for sure.
I didn't know you were living in Europe. I mean, obviously I saw you in Germany, which is crazy. But
so I'm a little weird. I live in Berlin full time, and I basically only come to the States for this. So so I made the choice to move there for like 4 years ago, and I mean, I like it there. I really like the drift environment over there as well. And but I mean, I love FD as well, so I like coming here. Like you said, I like the pits, the everything that happens off track. I really like here. So, but I'm very committed to Tommy and the team. So I want to do what I can. 8 rounds would be very, very tough on me. 4 rounds this year was difficult. I blew through all of my vacation, so I don't have any more. And for those who don't know, in many countries, almost all countries in Europe, you have at least 25 days minimum vacation per year.
Which is crazy.
I'm going through all of them. So I don't. This is my last vacation. Monday's my last vacation day. For the year. So, but I'm not complaining. I'm happy. So
where were you from originally? Like before?
I'm from Washington D.C.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. I wasn't sure the French connection there. If they're
we're an international team, man.
I know, it's crazy. How's your German coming along?
I can get by.
Yeah.
I can get by. It's not great, but I don't struggle that hard.
Okay, like you can find words to get around them.
I can converse. Yeah. There are a couple of drivers at Iron Drift King that I was able to kind of talk to. Like the German drivers there.
Yeah, so Max Heidrich and stuff like that.
Max. Yeah, Max. He's really good also. But
he's one of those drivers too. And people are like, oh, like who are you like looking at? I'm like, man, that dude can drive.
Yeah. They call him the crazy German for a reason. Yeah. Like, he is insane. insane.
He's definitely a driver I'd like to see come over.
Yeah.
There's that 6-cylinder again.
Very loud.
It's funny. These mics are pretty good. I mean, I was listening to the podcast we recorded last night, and you could almost not, like, you could barely even hear it when he was driving by. We were recording.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, these things are great, man.
Nice.
Same ones we use in the broadcast. That's why I picked them up.
Nice.
Yeah, consistent tone. So, obviously, you're running a shop of some kind. So, what's that balance like? You know, you already said I got to take time off to come do this stuff. Does that now become okay, I got to find somebody really good to help run the shop while I'm gone for part of the year, or how do you balance both things?
I actually have a friend that's helping me out. I call him a friend because he's actually my employee, but he works 2 to 3 days a week.
Yeah.
And so we split it between me and him. It's JP. He's in the pits right now. So yeah. So we did.
The whole shop's empty.
Yeah, the whole shop's empty right now. So he did 2 events with Tommy, and I did 2. So I did
cool.
New Jersey and here. But yeah, so we basically closed the shop. I don't see it as taking time to come here. Closing the shop, I see it much more like vacation because it's happy time, you know?
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. It's work, but it's like very enjoyable work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I mean,
super cool.
Finding
Super
the
chill.
balance is interesting. Like, I always try and tell people, like, oh, how do these guys do this? Or you know, there's the myth. I'm sure you've gotten it, like, oh, you must be making so much money and like driving Formula Drift and stuff. And it's like, I mean, really, there's like what, maybe 15 guys that are making a full-time living off of this, right? And that's at the pro level.
Yeah.
So there's sacrifices made by everybody on the team just to do this, which I think is important to highlight, because I don't ever want somebody to come out from Pro-Am or whatever into even PROSPEC and be like, oh, we're gonna make all this money. It's like, you got to fight for it. You got to fight for every dime, man.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. So I'm hoping on the sponsorship side of things, like that's going to be the next big push. Do you obviously, have you already started digging for sponsors? Like, you already like over at all the tire booths, like, hey, how's it going? Like,
yeah, exactly. So every guy that congrats me yesterday, and they were like, oh, are you gonna do the jump? So I'm like, oh, do you have anybody to show me, or can I shake a hand somewhere?
Yeah,
but yeah, we're really working on that, and especially today, it's a good day for this. So I'm gonna try to find the right people and shake hands and exchange information for sure. And we also had a great here, you know. So Magnus Supercharger, they jump on board with us. We had the D&D that jump on board with us too. So we have a great partnership already. We just need maybe tire sponsor for sure.
Yeah.
And maybe a company that's gonna push a bit more on the financial part.
Have you worked out a budget for next year? Like you said, 4 rounds. I don't know if you're comfortable talking numbers, but like, I guess like how much money do you think you would need to get the season comfortable?
So this year it cost $150,000 for the season.
Yeah.
That includes also the preparation of the car and everything. You know, not just the round, obviously. But so if we're going pro, I don't think it's going to be way much more than this if we only do 4 rounds.
Right.
But the goal is to do more than that, so obviously we need more. So that's why I think the real deal breaker is going to be the tires. Because I know the pros, they are going through lots of tires, more than us. So myself, mostly it's like 24 tires during a weekend.
Okay.
And I think the pros, they're going like to 32, 36 tires. So it's a bit more than us. So that will be the main goal for sure. But... yeah, we need more. We need more for sure, because this year I got $40,000 in sponsorship.
Nice.
So the rest was
out of pocket.
It was
basically
pocket,
someone's really nice salary is what you paid to drive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's tough. I think it's important that we talk about the reality of what it's like, because it's you doing it, it's everybody else on the grid doing it. Some guys are cheaper, some guys are more expensive, but I think your budget's pretty much right on par, like somewhere in the middle from everybody I've spoken to. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, I hope that works out. Hopefully, somebody watching this is like, no, this makes sense. I mean, realistically, you're when it comes to like a driver package, it works out well. You're young, so you've got a long time in the sport. You drive well. You've got a good crew. You've got a great car. You got another car in development. Coming off a championship, it should make sense. It's just a matter of getting out there, right?
Yeah, exactly. And don't give up.
Yeah, no, definitely not give up. That's for sure. from the perspective of the crew guys, like, what's a day look like for you guys right now? I mean, even yesterday, like, what was your schedule? What did you do throughout the day? Obviously the end ended with probably a couple of drinks, but what time are you guys getting up in the morning? When are you starting? And then how's your day kind of look?
It depends on the event. Utah is a little rough because it starts so early. So we were at the track on Thursday at 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
So we were up at 5:30 a.m. So that was a little tough. But I mean, the beginning of the weekend is all about setup, and it depends on whether we have hot pits or not. So Jersey's a little easier because we don't have hot pits there. So that's nice. But Atlanta, Utah, St. Louis all has hot pits. So there's setup and breakdown within the event, so that's like it's not bad, but so that's
more work.
It's more work for sure. But yeah, it's setup and making sure we have all the fuel jugs ready, stuff like this. I normally do stuff like that, and making sure we have all the tires, figuring out how many tires we need to swap in, like from the previous event. So like new tires from race tread. So it's figuring out a bunch of stuff logistically, and then figuring out how many trips we need to go to the pits to get everything there and back. And so that would be like the beginning part of the event. And then we're driving. And the second day, practice, we're driving, we're making setup changes and making sure this guy's happy. And that mostly falls on Mike, though. But otherwise, I think that's the gist of it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we just have to keep the driver happy, and just yesterday it was like, my steering wheel angle something feels wrong, so we had to fix it, and it's actually like brainstorming with the whole team.
Okay.
And me and JP, the mechanics, were the one getting dirty hands, but I mean, it's actually a teamwork. It's a team effort.
Yeah. Did you have to make any changes power wise because of the altitude here or anything like that?
We had to plug actually the laptop to communicate with the EXA tuning a couple of times yesterday and Thursday. So I'm not sure what was done. Okay. I'm really unsure.
Tuning witchcraft.
Yeah. Maybe Frank would know better because he's the one that plugged the laptop in while I was working on the car. But no, if there would be some major tuning differences, I would have got warned.
Yeah. So in St. Louis, before St. Louis, we changed the pulley to have a little bit more boost and do a little bit more power. It was a bit too much for St. Louis, but we knew that it was going to be good for Utah. So I think the power for Utah was just perfect. But as you said, Sam from Exa Tuning back in Quebec, he tuned and he logged himself on the car just to make sure everything was fine. We also worked a little bit on the rev limiter just to try to save the belt a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, bring it smoother.
Not worked enough to go until the final, but did what we had to do to get the championship. But other than that, I think it was more for safety that we logged on the car. Yeah.
Gotcha. So smoother at red line.
Exactly.
The way it's hitting red line.
Yeah, because we like it. Well, I like it very aggressive, because it's just for the show. Yeah. I'm all about the show for the fans, for
very
the
Quebec
people.
drifting of you. Very Quebec drifting of you.
But I was like, all right, this weekend we got to get the championship home, so let's play it smart.
Safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's I always try and explain to people what Quebec drifting is like. I'm like, it's very loud, it's very bright, everyone's got crazy liveries, and it's like, I think who was I talking to about it? It was like the burn off rule if you lose in DMCC. Or if you lose your battle, you got to burn your tires off.
Of course,
man, that's something I wish more series would do. It's because it's just about the show, right? It's like the battling's great, but almost like you lose, you get that last hurrah. Guys are trying different things, doing backing it in and stuff like that. It's I don't know. It's good. I like the show portion of it. That's for sure.
It's all about the fans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all about the fans. That's for sure. We've seen a lot of great drivers come out of Canada. We could go back to Pat Sear, Mark Landerville, obviously yourself. I'll put, Riley Sexsmith back in that camp. Josiah's in that camp. Why do you think for a country that has the same population of just California, why do you think we're producing great drivers? I can go for any of you guys. Yeah.
Well, that's a good question, but I think we started early. In 2004, I think the DMCC started. It was really early. I remember because I got the big championship trophy at home because I won the championship last year, and you see all the names, and I remember I saw Ryan Turk.
Yep.
He won it the first year, so it goes back a long way. So I think we were fans of drifting really early, and we developed the drift scene really early also. So we had some great company also back in the days that were giving good prize money and stuff like this. So I think it encouraged people to jump in the sport. But yeah, obviously I think we want to push ourselves, and the fact that we all, like, every driver is pushing the other drivers. We just make even if we're small numbers, we make ourselves better. Because Mike is also a driver in the DMCC.
Oh, nice.
So we all push each other. When I started, Mike, he was already, I think, a veteran, and I saw him, and I was like, I just want to be as fast as him. I want to be as good as him. And today we work together. It's just crazy. So I think we have a good respect for each driver, and that helps us a lot.
Fair enough. Mike, anything to add to that? Or
Yeah, to me, I mean, in Quebec, back in the days, we had drifting nights, and we had such amazing people. Drifting night was like a little grassroots event. We had some amazing people like Neil Gannett, like Jason Labrosse, Elie Arsenault, that was at ICAR and in Saint-Eustache. We had a lot of tracks to actually practice. I remember going to my local track, to Saint-Eustache, where you guys came along for a couple of years, going to Saint-Croix in the same weekend, doing like three in a row, burning off like 60 tires in a weekend just for fun.
Yeah.
Basically for shits and giggles,
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And I think that did a lot of good to the sport, and that drove people to go better, drive better, and go in DMCC. And like when you drive competitive drifting, you just want to be better,
Yeah.
So that's what created good drivers coming out of Quebec.
There was so much access, and like you said, I mean, obviously
super cheap to drift, dude.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's come up a little bit in price now, but I remember guys getting like tires for like $45 and stuff.
Yeah, and it was like $20 to enter for the night at Saint-Eustache for 4 hours. It was really nice.
From your perspective, obviously somebody coming out of Washington, living in Germany now, you have a unique perspective. These guys have born and raised in the program, but like, is there anything you're seeing from the outside going like, this is maybe the difference why we're seeing drivers like this?
I actually did round one last year with Tommy. So I was there in the first round. Saint-Croix, yeah. And beautiful track, by the way.
Yeah.
But also, it was in the rain, so that was unfortunate. However, one thing I noticed is that the drivers there drive so hard. Like, they just don't care. And it's like the way that they drive is just very, very aggressive. So that's one thing that I noticed seeing it firsthand, like watching how these guys perform on track. So that plays a part in it. Like, if you think about Tommy, if you think about Josiah, like, very, very aggressive drivers. And the style reflects on everyone in like DMCC and even just like the like fun events. Like these guys, there's very little care. These guys are throwing their cars all over the place, and it's really cool to see. And I think that that's part of the reason why you're seeing like a really sharp rise and a lot more notoriety coming out of the of that country. So especially that area. So I mean, it's really cool to see that. And that was my first. I'd never been to Canada before, so that was my first time doing all that. So that was really sick.
You also experienced my famous steaks.
Oh gosh,
yeah,
the best steak.
How have I not had one of these?
The best steaks I've ever had in my life, man. And I do not say that with any sort of exaggeration. I don't know what you did, but they were fantastic.
Alberta beef.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, dry age 60 days.
Nice.
Oh yeah, they're good. They're good.
I think there's something Canadian drifting in general, Quebec drifting specifically. There is a huge amount of pride of being hit in a run and still driving.
Yeah.
You are almost ostracized. You're definitely made fun of if you hit and spin or back out.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the group of drifters will get on you about it. Like, what are you doing? You stay in. And I'm not, and like, this isn't against anybody else because, like, there's always like, this guy flopped, that guy flopped. But if you quote unquote flop in Canada or Quebec in specific, you are made fun of. You are ostracized. Like no one will talk to you. It's like, no, you pin it no matter what. You get hit, you just drive harder.
Yep.
And that and the lack of mechanical sympathy has made for drivers that just like what you're getting to, that just beat the shit out of their cars.
Drive hard, fix later.
Drive hard.
Like
just pinning the gas pedal, just like, I don't care. If this car breaks, I don't care.
Some of the most beat up cars I've ever seen driving come out of Quebec. And it's just like nothing left on them, just over fenders to keep them like looking so they look decent.
If it breaks, it wasn't solid enough.
Exactly, No, it's good though. I mean, it's made for this culture of like, no, we come to drive. We'll do anything to get the car back on. There's no like, okay, we're done for the weekend. It's like everyone will come over. What do you need? What like the culture is so supportive of just hard driving all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, I love it. I really do wish more and more people got to see it. That's like my like DMCC. If you're listening, for the love of God, get a live stream going, man. Like let everybody see what you guys grew up in and what I've been able to watch a few times. Like it's wild.
Yeah.
So one day.
And also, I think it would work well for American audiences. Like most of the tracks are banks in DMCC, and they're fast.
They're so fast.
So it would work well. Like it'd be really cool to watch that on live stream. Like
and I think it would just bring more attention, more money, more sponsorship to all the drivers and the series itself.
We do have the Express Replay now.
Yeah,
it's very little, but
it's something.
It's
a start.
Hey, we'll take it. It's a start.
Yeah, it's and I mean the other part too is like those events are packed. Like
always.
It's always packed, and the fans are great. Like you guys like show up in the morning. Guys will show up with like full coolers, everything ready to go. They only get up to go to the bathroom, and like that's it. They're there. They've got their own little spot. Their group with them. You get little sections, people cheering. It's great. I want to spend more. I need to spend more time watching those events.
It's gonna be hard. You're gonna be in Florida, my friend.
I know. Oh man, it's. I'm just looking forward to like being able to drive again because like this like. Other than maybe driving in the winter, you got 4, maybe 5 good months of driving, and that's it. And I think that's the other part too, is like because you only have 4 or 5 months, you're focused so hard on like every weekend, every moment I can get to drive, I'm taking it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like living on the beach when you're like in Florida. Like the beach is always there, you're always gonna go. Whereas when you're in Canada, you're like, man, I got to go to the beach because I've only got like 6 weeks where the temperature's nice and the water's nice.
Exactly.
So you enjoy it a little bit more, but. Any other plans to you guys this weekend? I mean, what's the plan today? We're filming this on Final Pro Day. You guys gonna relax? You gonna go party? I know Tommy's gonna go try and get some more money, but
I think the guys have a big plan for us today, like a big schedule. They wanna. So last night we went to Topgolf. Today they wanna go. They wanna go swim in the sea salt.
Okay.
And see if we can float on top of it.
Right.
After that, what did they say?
I need to redeem myself in the go-karting track.
Yep.
We're not gonna beat him. We're not gonna beat him, but
No.
I want to get a little bit. I finished like 7th, I think, out of 10 drivers last time, so I want to get at least maybe 5th.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah, so karting for sure.
Yeah.
So I think the guy needs the redemption because
we have to settle for something.
You're gonna get
There's
some
too
bets
much.
going.
There's too much shit to do.
I think you just have to like find a way to like put like a bunch of weight in Tommy's cart to make it even.
Yeah.
He's too good.
So we actually got the best fastest time of the week.
This
Do
guy.
you really?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So we check and I
Damn.
see second is Brodsky. So I'm like, let's go, Dimitri, come on.
Oh, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
How far off are you from like the track record? Do you know? Did they say?
No idea.
Probably not far.
No idea.
Yeah. Drivers are all crazy. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's just you guys have it. Your brains don't work the same way as everybody else's.
Or they just don't work.
They just don't work. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's. I do think that's a big part of it. Their brains don't operate the same way.
No.
Yeah.
In 2022, I remember when we were here, I just in jest I asked Tommy, just out of curiosity, would it be possible for us to get any of us on the team or anyone else driving with you on the go-kart track to get anywhere near your time? And he modestly said no.
Yeah.
I highly doubt it.
It's almost like he's a karting champion.
Exactly.
Or something, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. He's
Pretty
not
much.
being like an asshole or anything. He's just like, no.
Not happening.
Well, there's just a certain level of feeling in those karts that like if you don't like I mean the best way I can explain it is like Tommy is able to find the edge of what that kart can do within a lap.
Yeah.
It would take us days.
A day, 2 days,
Right.
3 days a week.
Because
to figure it out.
we will give up before the cart does. Tommy will push the cart until it gives up.
Yeah.
That's the difference I've seen with high level karting.
Yeah.
You know, within 2 corners, he's like, I know how much grip I can put in this, or how much heat I can get into these tires, and how much grip I can put into it. We will back out of that corner well before Tommy
Well,
does.
yeah.
Yeah, karting's fun. Yeah.
That's
so
it.
Something that I noticed that is really really cool this weekend, and it was like heartwarming. I don't know how to say it, but it was a really kind gesture. I've seen lots of pro drivers coming to me and giving me nice words and stuff like this. And that was because I just seen a pro driver pass by, and it remembered me this. So this is something really cool also, because we're PROSPEC, we're trying to aim for the big series, the pro, and just seeing people like Corner Shannon.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah,
exactly. So it's
trippy, isn't it?
He came to me and he said some nice words, and I was like, whoa, that's just awesome. And I'm I see this guy on the YouTube, and I'm just trying to be somewhere nearby this, and the fact that they notice is just amazing. Nate Hamilton is so cool with me. Chris Rosberg also. They are all really kind people. So Rome at the podium, he's a really cool guy. So yeah, I'm really hoping that one day I can drive with them and maybe be a menace. How do you say menace?
A menace, yeah.
Like be in their way.
Yeah.
Menace. I like that. Yeah, it's good use of that word. A menace.
Because now they see me like, oh yeah, you're good, man. You can do it. But maybe one day, just like Minoa did with James Dean, that was magical.
Dude,
that was magical. You see,
that had me emotional.
Yeah, me too. You see the pictures, like he asking for autograph, and the next day he's just
and that picture was only like 3 years apart.
Yeah, right.
Or 3 or 4 years apart. That's insane.
Crazy.
It is a trip. I mean, I still get starstruck pretty often. Like, just having conversations with people, and I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, why is this person talking? I was having a conversation with. I think it was Mike Power. Like, we were chatting. I mean, obviously he's having a rough go right now, and he was saying, he's like, man, why aren't you a spotter? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you don't miss shit. And I'm like, what are you talking about, man? He's like, you're talking about this stuff, and like you see it and you're saying it in real time. He's like, you should be a spotter. If you ever stop doing this, let me know. I'll hire you as a spotter. I'm like, I've never been a spotter in my life, but it was just like one of those moments. I'm like, a professional race car driver is giving me, a compliment. And like, I'm getting like red in the face, and I'm like, oh, thanks, Mike. And like, Mike and I have been buddies for years, so like, there's no reason why I should be getting like starstruck over that. But like, I still do. It's cool. You're saying like Connor Shanahan coming up to you, like, this dude's a legend. He's young, but he's still a legend. James Dean coming up and like giving you a nice word. You're like,
Exactly.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's crazy. And I hope you don't, or any of us ever lose that, right? Like, I never want to lose any of the fan respect I have for these guys. Even like chatting with you, it's still like, man, you're like, right now you are the best driver in Canada, and you are the best driver in PROSPEC. Like, has that hit you yet? Have you had that moment of like, holy shit, like, I am the best driver in PROSPEC, period?
Well, I think I don't know. I think it's just like the achievement, and I don't think I'm better than the other drivers.
I mean, that says you are.
Yeah, it does.
But I think it's just like the achievement. Like, I did it. It's a goal, and especially for me, I'm really all about obviously the moments and everything, but winning is what drives me crazy. So to have it here, it's awesome. So it's a lot to sink in. I'm just really excited to get home and to celebrate that with my girlfriend, because it's a battle that we won together also, even if she's not here.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. It's really cool.
What about for you guys? Is it sunk in that you're like, I'm part of the team, like this, like our team? Like, obviously Tommy did a lot of work, but like you guys, I mean, he's gonna drive for what? 15 minutes actual driving, whereas you guys are working for hours and hours and hours. Nothing against Tommy, but like, you arguably put in more physical labor than he did.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
No, well, I mean, not to brag, but I knew.
Don't do it. I'm giving you the opportunities to brag.
I know he's the best out there.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to give him the best car there is. The fucking belt doesn't let me. Meaning like, no, I know he is. I know he is. Give him any machines and he will be defeat anyone.
Give him a rental go-kart and he's still the best.
There you go.
Yeah.
So it's funny because, you know, when we lost the belt, we were like, man, it's all right. It is what it is. We got the championship. But I was like, imagine if Connor would have go until final and we lose because of the belt. Man, ooh. I don't want to imagine the scenario, man. That will have been the end of it, man. You would have seen some stuff thrown around, man.
I feel like Connor,
tables would have been flipped.
If that would have happened, Connor's the kind of guy that would have like not flopped, been like, oh no, I spun out. Guess we have to go one more time. Yeah. Like I feel like he's the kind of guy like all he wants to do is win heads up. Where he's like, no, like you're not going out like that. I'll just spin, and then you get a couple minutes, throw that belt back. You can do it in a minute and a half. Swap the tires, throw the belt on. Let's just go again. Like, I feel like I know him well enough that that's the kind of stuff he do. Like, I'm not winning like that. There's no way I'm winning like that. Yeah, it's crazy. Well, I mean, I don't want to hold you guys up any longer. I mean, congrats to all of you and the entire team.
Thank you.
You guys deserve the hell out of this. I really hope anybody listening. Please go follow Tommy. Go check out all the adventures and stuff. If you are a sponsor, you're interested, get a hold of this man. He's a wanted commodity. I mean, I'm pumped to see where you go from here. I'm hoping Long Beach is on one of those stops. I think you would crush Long Beach. Like of all the tracks, like that's the one. And for me, I will probably get emotional. Calling your run in Long Beach. Like the first time you come out on track, I'm going to need a minute because I'm like, I'm just going to hear "Oh Canada" in the back of my head. Like, you know, it's going to be crazy and I'm very, very much looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
So, thanks guys. And for everybody watching, appreciate it. We'll catch everybody next time. All right. Thanks again to Tommy and the boys. Thank you guys for watching. I really, really appreciate it. We're going to get back to our regularly scheduled programming with episodes and everything else. I moved into Florida. I got to build my studio. And then we will kind of get back on a normal schedule of recording and everything else. But hopefully, if I'm doing this, I didn't miss a week, which was a massive goal for me. I know we just did a Tommy episode, but I really appreciate you guys listening. I was hoping that the crew effect on this would make things even cooler. But we'll catch everybody next time. And thank you so much for listening.